Hey guys, welcome to my lab. As you can see, I just got a welder and I've been practicing for about a week now. It's become apparent to me that I'm going to need something to weld on that isn't made out of wood, because that tends to start fires. I've got some scrap around, so I'm going to make a table out of that scrap. And as long as I'm doing that, I might as well take you guys along.
So here's my CAD work for the welding table. This is what the welding table should look like once we're finished. But before we can start on the welding table, we need to make all the pieces from the scrap that we have. So we'll start with these feet plates down here. These will be the mounting points for the casters. They'll be right here, but I didn't model them because ain't nobody got time for that. I'll weld these pieces of scrap together to make the plates. And I'll be honest, this is really just an excuse for me to weld plates together. As you'll see, this old work table is a pain to use because it's difficult to clamp to, the work surface is tiny and unstable, and it catches on fire. Mustn't forget the safety glasses. I'm still having some difficulty with the starts. I'm going to show this to you so you have an accurate view of things, but after this tack, I'm going to skip all the failed starts because I can't bear to watch it anymore. Just arc! Freaking do it! Just do it! Nailed it. Moving on. I'll have you know that was only the second try. Oh, it's even more satisfying in high speed. There, that's a weld. I wish I had recorded the next one, because that went a lot more smoothly. And now to make it shiny. That's probably a bit overkill, but I really like shiny things. Now to make the holes for the casters. This caster is old and filthy. I will clean it up before using it. Next, we need to cut all the bits of angle iron. Now we'll make this bit right here that will mate with the actual table surface. Now I need to prepare the table surface. Cleaning this thing was an adventure. This wire brush could clean off the rust just fine, but as I soon found out, this cold rolled steel was covered in slag, and that stuff is slippery. So then I tried a sanding disc. It would grind the metal just fine, but as soon as it got to the slag, it wouldn't touch it. So then I moved on to a grinding wheel, and the grinding wheel could get through it, but only very slowly. And once I started reaching the thicker parts of the slag, it just wasn't practical. You can see a bit better here what I was facing. See how it just glides right over the slag? So I did some Googling and found out that cold rolled steel has slag, and that hydrochloric acid cuts through it just fine. I happen to have hydrochloric acid, so that's what we did. You'll have to excuse the camera, it simply refused to focus that day. After one scrubbing with acid, I saw a noticeable difference in the slag, so I just kept giving it the rinse and repeat method until it was nearly gone. From there, it just needed a good sanding. And with all that done, we can begin assembly. We start by tacking the frame together, and with all these tacked I quickly get the hang of starting an arc. There we go, looks just like the CAD drawing, so we'll go ahead and weld it up. Now that it stands up, we'll have to test it to make sure it's safe before we use it. And it checks out. Now we're drilling and preparing the holes before we put the plate on. You'll see what we're going to do with those later. Here we line up the table using bolts. Now I'm going to take the head off of this bolt. Viewer discretion is advised. Now I'll push the bolt through the hole and weld it to the table. Then I can just grind the weld down and we'll have a completely flat surface on the top. I've cut some more pieces of angle, and this is for bracing near the bottom. While rolling the table around, you could see the legs wobbling about. This should fix it right up. At this point, everything is assembled, and I'm just going to finish it up with some black enamel paint. I'm starting with primer here because the metal's a bit rusty. Here's the final product. Now I should be able to weld conveniently and without having to put out fires on my work surface while doing so. We're nearing 1.0 status on the lab here, and once we do, we'll be able to take on some real projects. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.